what they was exposed to culturally, historical, you know, just to learn who you are and your history.
Hello, my name is Charlene Armstead. I am from Hueytown, Alabama, and I've been with Seraaj for 2.5 years. This far, I've actually been with Seraaj, and I left and come back. I took a break and came back. Right now, I only have placements. Well, I do not have a placement. I actually am doing respite, but I'm doing respite on a full-time basis. I've had a full-time placement. I had a young boy, roughly about 14 years old, which I enjoyed dealing with the older kids, because a lot of times I do get kids that are more so a little bit younger. Older kids, I love actually talking to them and kind of get into their mind, because you actually can see where they're coming from the more you talk with them, and then they tend to warm up to you and open up and really talk to you. You can see where they're coming from, but at the same token, I like to talk to them and not be judgmental and actually listen to them. And sometimes that allows me the opportunity to be able to see where their mind, you know, why they're coming up with whatever the issues that we're speaking of. And usually I loved being able to just take whatever we're talking about and put it into a perspective where, have you ever thought about this, or why do you think that, and really get their mind to spinning. So I love talking and having the older kids. So often I would say to myself, you know, I would love to be able to foster, but at the time I had a career where it really occupied a lot of my time. And once I came off of work, it afforded me the time to actually do the things that I wanted. And fostering was one thing that I really wanted to do. And my husband was very open and supportive that if this is what you want, then I'm backing you, sure. So I actually wanted to make a difference in a child's life. And it's one thing I always say, that every child should feel love, to be safe, and to be a child. And I cannot imagine having a child taken from their parents and then they not know what their next step's going to be. I mean, they're worried. They're having to take on grown-up worries, and that's not what a child should be. So as a foster parent, I always try to remind myself to not get attached, to not, which is hard, and to not get so consumed that you forget what you're in here for. You are here to nurture, to love, nurture, and protect these kids and allow them to feel safe and to be a child until they're reunited with their families. In growing up, I actually, if there was anything that bothered me or I really needed to talk, I had an aunt that I would go to. And she passed, but she was always that one that I could talk to, and whether I'm right or wrong, she could tell me and I not get offended. There's going to always be that one person that you respect their opinion to whatever they say. You're not going to take it to heart. You'll just be open and receptive to try to see, well, you know, she is kind of right. She did have a point. So, but my mother worked a lot, so therefore we were home a lot of times alone. But I did not have the luxury of being able to just sit around or have somebody that can actually sit around and talk to me and not tell me. And that's the difference there. And I always had said that I would love to be able to have my kids to where they could talk to me about anything, where we could discuss it and not be judgmental, where they can pretty much share with me and feel comfortable and come to me before they go outside and be at risk of getting the wrong information. I have 3 kids, so I've always been that house where all the kids come to my house, which is what I prefer, because if they're all hanging out at my house, I know what my kids are doing. But it had always been when the kids would come to my house, they would feel comfortable, they'll talk about whatever, but I could always say and put my input into whatever they're talking about, and nobody would ever get offended. I've learned as I gotten older that when we talk to our kids and let them know right and wrong, that's a part of the love, and they feel that. Although it may be some may consider it a part of chastising, but it's a part of love, and the kids feel it. Kids want to be loved. They want you to care enough to tell them when they're wrong. And the kids, they're very receptive of it. Whenever, I speak with them or give an opinion, they're receptive of it, and sometimes even ask what would I think. A lot of times it would be one of those, now that's one you might need to go to your parents. But then all of them don't have that open door policy in a sense. My parenting style. I have a lot of people to say I spoil my kids. When I say that, I spoil my foster kids. But I treat my foster kids just as I would my own kids. Love to me, it could be so many things, so many things. Love is not judgmental, it's caring, it's forgiving, it's just so broad, and everybody has a different need. Everybody have a different need. And love you to be willing to meet that need at wherever it is. It's unconditional. It's just it's very broad, but to be able to step in and meet the need wherever that may be. I love kids. I really do. I most so love to be able to make a difference, to be able to see that what you're doing is making a difference, that you're really connecting. And that really draws me to make me really want to foster, to work with the kids. It's really, close to my heart to want to deal with the kids. Because a lot of foster parents, a lot of them work. I don't work, but a lot of them do, which you have to know that they're trying to juggle being a parent, a foster parent, working a full-time job. So as a respite, I like to try to look at it as I'm giving them an opportunity to do something that maybe they can't do all the time because their foster mom is actually having to work. My kids are grown, so it's kind of hard to even look back because I've never had any problems per se. Everybody have problems, but I've never had any major problems with my kids. But let's say with the kids, my foster kids, the techniques, the classes that we're given are so educational, because there's a lot of things that we overlook because we don't deal with it day to day. And I say that because, again, I've never had any major problems with my kids, but I'm taking in kids that have been broken in some form or fashion, which, to use that term lightly, because we're all broken in some form or fashion. But there are techniques that we're taught and that I never really even thought about, but they make so much sense. And when we get to implement it, when we're actually put in that situation, it works out Oh God, so much better, because at that point we know what to expect. Now that we've identified what this is, oh, I've heard this before. And we can go back and remember. Sometimes I pull out the books and look back over at night when the kids are asleep. And that allows me to know how to handle this situation, what to expect. Because of this action, what did this indicate that's going on with this child? It's very educational, and it allows us to be able to work with the kids, to be able to service them and their needs better. They have to feel it here. When they feel it here, then everything else settles down. Therefore, they can deal with the separation, although they miss their parents and all. They can deal with that separation if we're fulfilling that void. And when I say that, I mean we're supplying their needs. We're giving them that love and affection, and we're giving them the support and let them know that it's just a matter of time. You will be back with your parents. But to let them know that I'm going to take care of you until you get back home with your mother. And that's the part that really touches my heart, and that's what I really want the kids to be able to feel, that once you get that part done, I believe that a child, you can see the difference in a child, and it makes it easier on both the foster parent as well as the child.
A child don't want your material things. They just want your time. They remember memories. They can hold on to that.